Welcome to Building Fortunes Radio. Make sure you check us out at buildingfortunesradio.com. Along with our marketing partners, we're here to help our PM Marketing Network Leads customers build their businesses and make the world a better place. At Building Fortunes, we know how much your business means to you and the people important to you. So spread the word, tell a friend, join our newsletter, and go make a difference in your world. Now on to our show with your host, Peter Mingils.
Hello, everyone. Peter Mingils here. You're listening to us on Building Fortunes Radio. That's www.buildingfortunesradio.com. And if you're listening in live, it is on a Friday. It's 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Today is February 5th of 2016. And I will say in advance, I will remember this radio show forever. And the reason why I say I will remember this radio show forever is this is the very first radio show we're doing with a special guest host of ours. His name is Ollie Cantos. Ollie called me up, and we were talking about different things, and as I started to hear his story, I was like, wow. I mean, Ollie, you are a perfect example of why we are doing Building Fortunes Radio. So for those people listening in, you want to definitely take a listen to previous things, and I'm not going to worry about rushing everything into our very first radio show because I really want to have you meet an extraordinary individual, and I'm going to kind of slowly go into the introduction. So we built Building Fortunes Radio as a platform to talk about home-based businesses, entrepreneurial spirit, all of those types of things, because my life by design, I said to myself, what would be the best thing for me? And that would probably be to work from wherever I wanted to work from. And way back then, when I first got started, it meant at home with my family. But having the flexibility of working on the road as well. Using the technology that was available then that I knew would grow as well, too. And sincerely trying to help as many people as I possibly could learn the benefits and take advantage of being involved in home-based businesses, from the economic side to the relationship side to the impact that it would have on their families, to their finances, and everything all across the way. And I always said I wanted to have fun, make money, help myself and a whole bunch of other people in the process with no losers in the equation. And when we met Ollie, and again it's Ollie Cantos, I said this is exactly why we are doing this Building Fortunes Radio. So when he agreed to host some radio shows with us, I was more than pleased based on our initial conversation. I just knew it when I started speaking with him. Then I learned more. So he sent me a few links. We did a little bit of research. You can check him out as well on, you do your search engine thing. And here's what you'll find. Number one, he has absolutely lived an incredible life so far. He's been a member and a vice chairman of the President's Committee with people with all different types of things with President Bush and also President Obama. He works in Washington, D.C., goes to work in some of those big buildings. He is a civil rights attorney. He works with different departments like Justice and a few other things as well. That's himself as a business person and in his professional life. Then he's also a dad who is raising 3 children as well. They're all 16 triplets, could you imagine? Triplets. But he's also an accomplished writer, a great speaker, has spoken to tens of thousands of people. He's also, I don't know how he does it, but he lives an incredible life, and he's done all of this. And when you start to take a look at his bio, you would be equally impressed. And I have to share with you, if you ever compare your accomplishments maybe next to other people, he is humbling because he's done amazing things. So when I was reading his bio, I'm like, wow, I didn't know, like, holy cow, you did this. Holy cow, you did this. And then when you find out that he is also blind, you'd say, no way. Like, there's no one that could ever do this. And still, because of our thought process based on that, like, how would I ever be able to accomplish all the things that he's done and being blind? And then when we were speaking too, I found out that his sons, which are triplets, which is an accomplishment all at the same age of being around 16 right now, they are also blind. I was blown away. So for all those people that are listening in, we're going to put up his bio on his very special segment, but I wanted to be the first one to introduce the Building Fortunes Radio audience to Ollie Cantos. So, Ollie, thanks for being here on Building Fortunes Radio.
Thank you, Peter, for having me. It's an honor, and I'm really excited about this opportunity.
When I talked about February, 5th of the year 2016 being a day I will always remember, although we started our relationship last week sometime when we were scheduling this show, or this week I guess it was when we were starting to schedule this show, I knew that, sometimes when you talk to people, you realize that, our lives will cross and intersect, and who knows what we're going to build with this. And I could really imagine us building a whole bunch of really great things on this platform and other things as well. So I was playfully saying to you, I'm going to maximize and leverage all the things we possibly can with Ollie Cantos, and hopefully you'll be able to do the same with us. So for this whole entire listening audience, I hope you're going to really enjoy what we're going to share with you next. But I always like to find out a little bit about people personally, and we don't have to worry about rushing it because we're going to do many radio shows. But for all those people listening in, I got to share with you my Ollie plug. Ollie is also building a home-based business. So if you would say to yourself, wow, I'd really like to work with him, you would be able to in many ways, but also be able to collectively build a home-based business. So besides the inspiration, besides the motivation, besides the education, you can work with him. And his sons, they're only 16, but they're doing things that most adults don't even do. So you be able to actually work with him and then take advantage of that as well and be part of this whole thing. And I really don't know how else you'd rather live your life better by design. I love that expression, but really by design, not necessarily by default. So, Ollie, I'm going to stop, kind of gushing on you a little bit. But the reality is you have done some amazing things. So can you share with us a little bit about yourself? And we'll work the blindness thing in as well. But can you tell us a little bit
Sure.
about because your accomplishments are amazing, and then when you just kind of sprinkle on the idea that you're blind is just equally amazing. Now, I don't want to really emphasize that, but enthusiastically I say the idea that you've done all the things you've done with that as a disability is just incredible. And I know you're doing a lot of things to help other people as well. So we have a lot of people that are listening in that you will be inspiring through your process of talking to us next. So go ahead. I'm going to stop talking. Tell us more about you.
Well, thank you again, Peter. I'm really grateful for this getting to be on here. When I look back at my life, I can't believe how things have progressed considering how things got started. I'm the son of Filipino immigrants who came to this country in the 60s, and I was born in California, and as a kid, I was painfully shy. And on top of that, I was extremely sensitive. Not to cause any sort of drama, but I was just so sensitive. Anytime anybody would say something, I would take it personally, and I would just see myself as not having any ability and not really having an opportunity to have any friends other than maybe those who are also blind. And so my self-esteem growing up was tough because I was made fun of every day at school. It was a daily occurrence where kids would put their hands in front of my face and they'd say, how many fingers am I holding up? And they'd say, ha, I can't see you, and they'd run away. Or I wear glasses, so they'd say, so what's up, 4 eyes? Or they'd say, hey, you come in on that little yellow bus, because I was picked up from home and brought with other kids to school. And they'd say, you come in on that yellow bus. You must be on the retard bus. So you must be a retard. You must be stupid. And, it was hard hearing those things every day. And then on top of that, I was just trying to get through school. And because my mom and dad really pushed hard for me to do well academically. And so I had all of that going at the same time. And I honestly wasn't sure how I'd be able to progress past that. And I couldn't see myself getting past that. So there came a point when I wondered about if I'd ever make any friends, and when I hardly made that many friends, I thought, well, of course, who'd want to be friends with me anyway? That was my mindset. But because of my incredible parents and my sister, who's younger than me, but through all these years, from then till now, things really just kept getting better and better and better, because my mom insisted that I have the same rights and responsibilities, stress on the word responsibilities, just like any other kid. So I remember, just like any kid, I'd like to get out of doing chores. So I'd have to clean, let's say, the kitchen counter or whatever it was. And I'd say, well, sorry, Mom, I can't see where the dirt is. And she'd say, then use your hands. but you're not getting out of it. You need to get back to it. And then on top of that, she'd inspect my work, and she would expect me to do it right. And she literally say, when I give you something, you need to do it the right way. You can't do anything half-heartedly. You have to do it right. And so it was that level of commitment that my mom had to excellence that she instilled in me from the beginning. So my whole life, all I've been used to is expecting myself to do as well as possible. And whenever I ran into any adversity that came along the way, including what happened at school, my mom and dad, they would literally say things like, okay, so wait, let me get this straight. They'd literally say, those kids that are making fun of you, when you grow up and you have a job, are they going to pay you? I'm like, well, I don't know. Are they going to be my bosses? I'd say. They said, no. And they used to say, well, and if they don't care about you anyway, and they're making fun of you because they don't know who you really are, why would you even give them the time of day when they obviously don't know what they're talking about? I mean, she'd have this edge to her, as my dad did too. And they literally just said, it doesn't matter what they say because you know the truth. Are they telling the truth about who you are? And I'd say, well, they're saying I can't do stuff and I have trouble playing sports the way they do. And my mom would say, yeah, if you do things differently, does that make it any less important, or does that mean that it's somehow not as good? And I sheepishly said no. And she said, well, there you go. So if you know the truth and they don't, and because of their being the way they are, they decide to make fun of you, you're going to give them the power to control how you think of yourself when they go off and they go home and they do whatever with their lives, and you're going to just do that. And when she said that, it made sense. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's true, huh? And so it took me a while to internalize what she was saying, but eventually, because of all of her heart and soul that she poured into me, along with my dad and my incredibly protective sister. She was 7 years younger. From the time that she could walk and talk, she would be extremely protective. That's a whole other story where, like, even when I was a teenager, when she was 7 and I was 14 and she'd see somebody stare, she would run and tell my parents that I was being stared at. And then when she got older and I was 21 and she was 14, there have been instances where she would walk up to somebody and she'd say, what the F are you looking at? He's blind. What does it matter? And she would just be literally in their face, and they'd back off. I mean, she's extremely amazing. And then just with this kind of family support, I realized that, yeah, the blindness thing is it can be challenging, not because of the blindness itself, but just because of just the technical things associated with it sometimes. And so my self-esteem just kept growing gradually, small at first, but gradually. And then eventually, and especially with some teachers in school, like my second grade teacher, Mrs. Ortega, and then Mrs. Hanrahan in next grade, etc. In junior high and Mrs. Crouch in high school, I became a student body vice president over a school of just 500 kids when I was in 8th grade, and then later junior class president at my high school, and then student body president, etc. The rest is history. But the whole thing that was set into motion because of my early childhood development was that success is the default. And whatever I decided to go into, success had to be the default. And so from the earliest ages, from when I was 10 years old, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I also wanted to make some money. And so I learned from an early age that you can make a big difference in the world and still make money. And what I was taught and what I continue to espouse today is that making a big difference and making a lot of money do not have to be mutually exclusive. In other words, it's not like, oh, if I want to make a big difference, I can't make a lot of money. Or if I make a lot of money, then I can't make a big difference. Because there's this whole wrong notion that wealth is somehow associated with greed and corruption and stepping on people to get to the top and that sort of thing. It doesn't have to be that way. And for all of us as marketers, we have to understand and know that when it comes to who we are, when we make more money and when we are successful at our respective businesses, then it means that whoever we are inside gets magnified. So if you're a person who's greedy and you make more money, then that gives you more money to hoard. If you're a giving person, it gives you more money to give away. And so that's why even with all the adversity that happened and getting through school later, and I literally went through so much in law school, I thought I would never make it out of law school. And then to become an attorney, all of that, my whole goal was to make a difference and to make a six-figure income, and I'm grateful that I now have both. It's funny when it comes to success that so many people, they ask the opinions of people around them who may not necessarily themselves have been successful. So everybody has an opinion, but there's a difference between an opinion and an informed opinion. If any of us wants to be successful, we need to look at those who have made it in whatever we're doing and emulate what they do, and refrain from internalizing when other people doubt that it's going to work because it didn't work for them. We really have to be careful about that, because there are a lot of people around us, especially in this industry, who think that what we do is a pyramid, it's a scam, we're somehow just sitting back and relaxing while our people do our work while we collect the money. We know that is not how it works. That we know with our respective businesses that all of this takes hard work. It takes smart work. But the reason why I came into this space as a now having been a former presidential appointee and being an official in this administration as well, is that in spite of everything that I've done within the nonprofit sector and literally at the highest levels, including at the White House itself, there's actually a picture with me and the president online if anybody wants to find it. In spite of all that, then the question is, wow, with all of that and with the money you're making already, why in the world would you want to get involved in network marketing business? And my answer is because I want to do more. No matter what I do in my life now, because of where I am, no matter how hard I work, I can't get paid any more than what I'm getting. Whatever I get is what I get. That's because I've hit the top of my scale where I'm at, with my pay level. And so I want to have another challenge. But the other thing is I like the feeling of continually growing. And that's what having our own business enables all of us to do, to be able to grow and to have pride in what we do, and not to need people to succeed, but actually to contribute to them by showing them how them working with us enables us to help fulfill their needs by our supporting what they want for themselves. If we ask people who are a part of our organizations, or even people who are prospectively a part of our organizations, what they define success, how they define success, and then we help them strive for what they want, that's where things really can take off. And I have really come to continue to believe and embrace that. And what's so exciting, Peter, about the work that you're doing is that across different companies, people can see news about different things in the industry. They can see what's working well. They can see what's not. You really have a really good approach to providing real value to people in this space. There are people who hate network marketing. So what? There are people who love network marketing. There are people who would love it if we expose the opportunity to them. There are others who may not think they like it at first until they realize how good this is, etc. We can find people moving into or out of this industry, but we can do that with anything. So if people don't like this type of industry, that doesn't mean that the industry is bad as an industry. It just means that it's not for them. Like my being an attorney, a lot of other people may not want to ever do what I'm doing. I'm in the civil rights arena, so I dedicate my days toward, in an administrative level, supporting efforts to uphold civil rights. And other people do other things. So part of the diversity of this world is by loving people where they are, respecting them for what they do, and integrating our respective opportunities into whatever the possibilities are. And once people do this and do this the right way, and that's something for another discussion, when it's done the right way with a focus on retail profit, and it's done through that approach, and it's done properly, then people can have a wonderful experience with this industry and doing well, rather than feeling like they're just a bunch of people making money off of them and nothing's happening for them. Because the way to keep people and retain people is to show that, not only to show that you care, but to demonstrate that through your actions as well as your words, and by remaining true to making sure that they feel like there's positive association by being with you. If you fulfill those things, and if you show them how to turn a profit as fast as possible through the retail sales of retail profit and promoting that, then that's the way to go. So I'm realizing I'm just talking, so I better stop, Peter. But that's sort of a general overview of in a nutshell, of my way of thinking in life.
Perfectly so far. We're going to expand upon that. We will take our little commercial break. We'll be right back. This is Peter Mingils. We're talking to Ollie Cantos, and we're going to be right back after this very, very, very brief commercial break. Here we go.
Thanks for listening to Building Fortunes Radio. If you sell a product or build a sales force, you should check out PM Marketing and Network Leads. Visit www.networkleads.com. For over 16 years, PM Marketing has helped distributors build home-based businesses through lead generation, website development, automated email delivery systems, and sales training. If you're looking for a way to increase your skills and increase the number of people that see your product or opportunity, Network Leads can help. To learn more, visit networkleads.com or call 386-385-8679. That's 386-385-8679. Ask about their lead management system, capture pages, personalized websites, training, humongous blogs, the humongous classified ad network, or their webinar schedule. NetworkLeads.com can be your one-stop shop for everything you need. Now, back to the Building Fortunes Radio Show.
Hello again, Peter Mingils here. You're listening to Building Fortunes Radio on www.buildingfortunesradio.com. We're going to have special segments up for Ollie in the buildingfortunesradio.com website, so make sure you find that very special segment. We're going to put up his bio, some great other links that he does. This gentleman, I mean, I hate to brag on him while he's on his own show, but a gentleman has had lots of accomplishments, does so many different things. The idea that he says, oh, yeah, and by the way, I do network marketing, it seems so much out of context, because most people sometimes they think of a network marketer as being that carnival barker that they might see on, some kind of an internet thing with, lifestyle of the rich and famous and, pitching stuff that they know is never going to happen. So those are all the things that we're trying to kind of counterbalance, and with the introduction to Ollie on our radio show, we're certainly going to do that. This is a gentleman who's accomplished. He's an attorney. He's doing a network marketing company. He's a dad. He's doing everything right. The kids are following his instructions as well. I'm super proud to hear of some of the examples with the children as well. Can't wait to go check out some of their YouTube stuff. We're going to make sure that we have a lot of those links on that Building Fortunes radio show. But I also have to share with you this. If you're listening in and you are not attached to something right now and you want to work with somebody incredible like this, make sure you check him out. We'll have his link on that website as well, so you'll be able to take a look at that. Ollie, we're going to explore on other radio shows when you said, do it the right way, and that's what we're all about, showing people the right way, the wrong way, so they can make the path of doing it the right way when they're ready for that. And I want to explore that some other time, but we only have a few minutes left. I really want you to tell us a little bit about some of your accomplishments so far. I was so impressed. The idea that you're working in Washington, D.C., the idea of what you did. I mean, I just really enjoyed the story telling us about what was happening when you were growing up. I visualize your little sister. I visualize what I could see your little sister doing to help stick up with you, and the wonderful things about your parents. But tell us about you as an adult as you started to go up. Let's brag a little bit on some of your accomplishments.
Oh, well, actually, when I think about the things that have happened, what I ended up doing as a career is I was in nonprofit for several years. Well, at the Disability Rights Legal Center in California, and then I got recruited to become general counsel and director of programs for the American Association of People with Disabilities in D.C. Then I became special assistant to the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the Department of Justice, and then I was associate director for domestic policy at the White House, and I helped with a multi-billion-dollar portfolio there. And then I came back and I was special counsel to the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights and was vice of the President's Committee for People with Intellectual Disabilities. And then after that became, I'm now special assistant to the Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights at the U.S. Department of Education. And so that's the career path. And then there have been a lot of other nonprofit work where I've worked with low-income families. I've worked on promoting awareness about homelessness and the need for affordable housing, worked on access to legal services by people who are lower income, have also focused on all sorts of other issues ranging from transportation to emergency preparedness to my favorite, entrepreneurship. And I also have, with the speeches that I've done, I've spoken to more than 57,000 over my lifetime so far. That's only counting from 1999 through now. And OllieCantos.com is the website where it has all of that background information. And I'm also on YouTube at Ollie Cantos. And also, you can also find me on Facebook. So we're all over the place. But life has been really a blast. And the reason why I continue to be so excited every day is because there's always that feeling of there being a new frontier, more to do, more lives to impact as our lives are impacted. And believe me, trust me, I promise you, let's just suffice it to say, just be on the lookout in the next couple weeks, within the next 2 months, you will, people from all over who are not even in the space, you will see a story about us in a major way. Peter knows what it is, but we'll tell the secret later. So
sounds like
there's just
fun.
a lot of things that are just going so well in life. And we continue to have financial goals. We want to build even bigger. We want to make a bigger difference in more lives. But we also, let's be honest, I also want us to make more money because we're entrepreneurs after all, and my children are all entrepreneurial as well because that's what I've taught them. So even with regard to the business, 2 of them have their own distributorships in their, literally, they're named. They have their own. And then the third one is working on it. And on top of that, they paid for their own distributorships, and so they make as little or as much as they can, but we're all doing it together, and they're doing great. And even at school, it's funny, they're obtaining customers at school. We can go into that to another time.
But
we love retail. So anyway, it's been a blast.
I can't wait. So you are a great example of someone that is doing it the right way, and we're going to share with those examples and more specifics. And Ollie, I just got to tell you, you can go to OllieCantos.com. You'll find them on YouTube. We'll put links on the Building Fortunes radio spot that we have for you as well, and you'll want to share this with other people too. And I have to tell you for myself personally too, I really appreciate working with you because I don't know where we're going to go. There's so much potential here to be able to help as many people as we possibly can. I'm looking forward to that too. So sometimes I say, entrepreneurs are like matchsticks. You kind of put them in a brown paper bag, rub them together, pretty soon you're going to get a fire. I have no idea where we're going to go, and we're documenting the journey as we start. So that's really great, and I can't wait to have you back on Building Fortunes Radio. We're going to call it a show before we run out of time. Ollie, thanks for being here, and we're going to catch you next week.
You've been listening to Building Fortunes Radio on buildingfortunesradio.com. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check us out every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for the designated Building Fortunes Radio segment with Peter Mingils. Be sure to check out the buildingfortunesradio.com website for our featured segments. It's been our privilege to have you listen in. At Building Fortunes Radio, we wish you the success you deserve and are willing to work for. So spread the word, tell a friend, join our newsletter, and go make a difference in your world.